Well, now the microphone and headset is on young Vincent Nobile. How you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How are you guys?
We were in a little bit of an argument over you a minute ago. I was picking you for the Rookie of the Year thing, and I was saying, look, you got 2 wins there. And then Mike jumps on me and says, well, Ellie Tonglet won at Indy, and that's more than 2 wins.
And I started handing out fractions, too, by the way. Half each.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I meant Hector Jr., first of all, Vincent.
Yeah.
Ellie won it last year.
Yeah, that other guy.
I mean, yeah, Indy's a big race. 2 wins, I mean, that's pretty good, too, I guess. But like I said, it's going to be a tough race for that Rookie of the Year award. And it's probably going to end up going to Pomona for the decision factor. And, you know, Hector's riding really well. He struggled in the beginning of the year just because he was so new. Newer than me, actually. He had less rides down the track than I did. So he definitely found out how to ride that bike, and it really shows. And he proved himself at Indy.
Well, Vincent, hold on just a second. You currently are 7th in the standings here, but Jason Line and Mike Edwards are coming up right now, and we want to give them a little coverage as well. There is Edwards, the current #1 in the standings. Line is down in 3rd, right behind his teammate, Greg Anderson. Jason, 5 wins, ties his single season high, 5 wins in 2011.
Well, as we mentioned, that 6:54.1 is your #1 qualifier, and the top 3 have ran that number in the previous session. But up to this point, we really haven't seen a lot of guys improve. Erica Enders went 6:57, but she didn't go down the first session. Mike Edwards had a great 60-foot.
Edwards, 6:54, 6:55 for Jason Line. They'll stay where they were. And so, Vincent Nobile, we're back with you. That whole Rookie of the Year thing. Is that on your mind a lot, or is just coming up with the win each weekend what's on your mind?
You know, I go to every race trying to do the best I can. Obviously, I'm here to win the race and take that Wally home with me. But also in the back of my head is Rookie of the Year. You know, that's another great award, great accomplishment to win. I mean, people like Jason Line and Mike Edwards have won that award before. So to be able to be on that same list as those guys would be really great. And, yeah, it's in the back of my head, and I'd really like to step up my game and win that award by Pomona.
I can't imagine you have much time to think of anything else other than racing a very fast pro stock car and dealing with college. We talked last week about the benefit that your professors are able to give you. Say you had a paper due on Tuesday. You said you could turn it in on Thursday. Did you get it in on time?
Yeah, I got it in on time, actually. You know, unfortunately, because I went out first round, I was able to get home early and hand that paper in. But
what was it on?
It was on marketing, but I was really hoping to hand that in late.
Let me guess, marketing, you probably wrote about how to market a drag racing team to the general public. Correct? I mean, correct, stop me if I'm wrong.
No, yeah, of course. Anything to do with business marketing.
He had a test in marketing, too, I believe.
Yeah.
Hey, Vincent, good luck with everything this weekend. Good luck with the Rookie of the Year. That's
Thanks
great.
a lot. Appreciate it.
Well, the Pro Stock standings look this way, with Mike Edwards still #1 after 2 sessions. Greg Anderson right behind him, and then Jason Line going all the way down to Larry Morgan in 8th.
Of the top 12 at times at carryover, you see Ron Krischer in #9 spot, Ronnie Humphrey, Kurt Johnson, he's in 11th, and Greg Stanfield is in that final transfer spot with a 6:59.2 elapsed time.
Yeah, and look at that list of not qualified, and remember, too, if for some reason or another there wouldn't be any qualifying, and I don't want to say it's not going to happen. It's just right now there's a very threatening forecast. Who knows what will happen? That changes constantly, but down to 16th would be the way they would end up setting the field. They start qualifying, then everything changes. The NHRA Full Throttle Drag Racing Series, it's in the countdown to the championship now, the playoffs. And we have full coverage for you of the qualifying. That is on Saturday night at 12:30. And then on Sunday evening, as it will be through the end of the playoffs, 7 o'clock in the evening for our coverage of final eliminations. How about that view? Wouldn't you like to be up there?
No.
I wonder if they collect any money for that seat.
There's bugs and snakes up there.
Well, guess what? We have another guest for our Friday night, and it's none other than the great Joe Amato, who is legendary Nitro Performances, and he's come to join us in the booth there as we bring Nitro up to the line in a few minutes. Good to have you here, Joe.
My pleasure. Been an exciting weekend here so far.
Well, you're one of the legends here this week, and I was up in the tower, and I was coming back after that first session, and there was a line a mile long of people waiting to get yours and Bruce Larson's and Shirley's autograph and everybody. I'm sure they were all there just for you, right, Joe?
No, really, they're there for Garlitz. Big Daddy's the man, and Shirley. And I was sitting next to Garlitz, and we were trading some war stories, and we had some good stories. I reminded him one time I beat him in a final of a Big Bud shootout type race, and I had him sign the picture. I beat him about this much, and he said, "I owe you one, Joe." And I swear to God, the next year we raced in that shootout race, and he hole shotted me and beat me. And like he said,
he never forgets.
He doesn't forget.
He never forgets.
He's 80 years old, and you think he was 45. I mean, big is on it.
I know. I interviewed him about the first one to 200 miles per hour, and the thing that amazed me, I mean, both him and Connie and the Greek all had great stories, but Garlitz was so precise in remembering every little detail of why he was the first one to go over the 200 miles per hour, and it's always amazing to talk with him.
Yeah, he's mad because they took his Hemi car and they threw him out of his class and they put him in a different class.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they kind of cut the wheels out. He's got to get a different car.
So he's still the competitor that he always was.
Yeah.
Nothing changes, does it?
He's unbelievable.
You're watching these young guys come up today, guys like in Funny Car Hagen and Antron Brown and all that. What do you think of these guys?
I think it's exciting. I remember seeing Hagen. Somebody told me, what he did and where he came from, and
right.
I'm thinking, he's got a long way to go. And here he comes out and blows the record, and he's there already. A short time. But a lot of that comes to do with going involved with a big team like a Schumacher or Force, where you got all the cars and the technology, and you come in and you get the money, and you can move fast up because if you're a good driver and they gave you the good equipment, and I think that really helps a lot of people get somewhere quicker than in the old days when you had to really work at it.
Okay, Dave Reese got a question for you.
Well, Joe, your career stopped 1 year early. I know you were planning the big retirement year. When you see what has gone on in this category, how much do you regret not being able to go out and have those final 23 national events?
Well, you always look back and you wish you could have done it, but at the time the technology was moving fast and you have to stay focused and be on the race team. But it's something I'll never be able to say what I could have done. But I'm happy with what I did, and as it turns out, this was my last win at Maple Grove.
Yeah.
The race we finished with, and we're back here and having the Legends deal and all. So it's kind of nice to do it in my hometown.
Shirley, though, is convinced she can still do this right now, today, and wants to. What about you? Could you still do it right now?
I think I could drive the car. I don't know if I'd be willing to put up with all the rest of it goes with it. People don't understand driving the car is 25% of what you do, but the other 75 is like is work. Yeah, I mean, really, you have to be focused and committed and be willing to do it. And it's a job. It's a job. Even though you have the excitement and the thrill of doing it, having your own team, managing it, the politics, the sponsor deal, and it's a job to do it. Ask Mike. He's been there.
Yeah, the check writing is not something I'd want to do.
That's the hardest part, right, Joe?
And it's expensive. There was a couple of years I didn't have sponsors, and we had my Keystone Automotive had to write the check. And, you look back at how much you spend on a year, it makes you think about it,
Well, and there's a good point, too, because, and we've discussed this before, but now you've got big sponsors, bigger money coming in, and the obligation to the sponsor becomes much, much more. So as a driver, they don't have some of the chances that you had just to interface with fans and have a good time with your fellow competitors.
Yeah, they're definitely, a lot of times they have to go to different tents or booths or the suites to sign. So, they definitely keep the drivers busy. During the week, they have a lot more appearances. And, there's definitely more pressure on the driver to do a lot. But the money's a lot more money. So you have to justify your expenses and why somebody's going to give you millions and millions of dollars,
Okay, Stat Guy's got something for you.
Hey, Joe, welcome to the booth. We've known each other since the mid-'70s, back when you used to race Pro Comp with the old Barracuda race car, which I love. Saw you first race at York US 30. I remember you going over a bump at the finish line. The first time I saw you race, you actually were off the ground in that race car. It's about 35-plus years ago. Let's talk about your last win. Semifinals, you beat Bob Vandergriff, And you saw Bob win last week. How cool was that?
That was good. I know Bob a long time. I know his dad from Head and Headers in the business. And you watch somebody, he had the record, the wrong record, being in the final 13 times or something. And, he beat John Force by 4 on that. And I knew eventually it had to come. You wouldn't want to be the guy that had to race a guy with that kind of record. And he did it in bowmanship style. He blew them away, which was good.
It was a lot of fun. And then, of course, in the final round, you beat Gary Scelzi. At the time was the hottest top field driver ever. But your record against Mike Dunn, we always like to look that up when we have a guest in the booth.
That was
Drum
bad.
roll, please. You raced him 20 times, and you beat him 11 times.
Well,
you had the winning record.
Wow.
Good for me, buddy.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd be that good.
Yeah.
Joe Amado's one of the best drivers out there ever in all the championships. But we got to ask you, have you ever done this after you won a race, Joe? Ran back down the track?
I was watching him. I couldn't believe nobody picked him up in a golf cart. He didn't even take his helmet. He was down there celebrating with his helmet on. I mean, it was unbelievable. I just couldn't believe he did that.
And it was like 104 degrees going down the track.
I text Bob. I said, if you're going to do this, I said, you need to go mountain bike riding with me in Reading so I can get you back in shape for your next win. He said, man, no kidding. He said, that about killed me.
Yeah, it was nice to see Bob win. It's always nice. That's one thing exciting. Like this year, I've seen a lot of new people win. And I do watch TV regularly on the shows if I'm around somewhere. And it's exciting to see all the different people get excited about winning. And that's what I think makes the fans like the sport so much.
Now, I know racing here, this was always your hometown track, and you didn't have a whole lot of success here. You raced a lot of times, and it was always like kind of bittersweet. But what did it feel like to win here on your home track?
I think when I finally won here, after so many years, it was like the monkey off my back. And it was like the biggest win of my life. It was bigger than winning Indy or winning a championship because there were so many people over the years that we came down with Keystone. We used to bring thousands of people, customers. And every year, you're going to win, you're going to win. The papers, you're going to win, you're going to win. Runner-up, runner-up, runner-up. But finally, we won. It was like, wow, if I had to do this before I retired. I don't think I would have retired if I didn't win. And then we ended up doing it again. So, believe me, you know how that goes when you want to win in front of your hometown crowd and you don't do it. It's like more pressure on you. You got to have fun with the sport. You can't let the pressure get you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, many times we were racing alcohol down here.
It's going to take you back to U.S. Nationals in '88.
Oh, wow.
There's Buster on the line and you. That's Gene Snow you're going against.
That little pedal fest there, yeah. That's one of those deals when it smoked the tires, you thought, oh my God, and then you saw him up front.
Yeah, because me and Gene Snow were running really close and fast, and we're all hyped about this is going to be the most exciting final and the times and all. And I think he broke a throttle cable, if I remember, and we smoked the tires, and I didn't see him going anywhere, so I said, we'll try it again and again, and finally I got the win light and was like, we didn't even run good and we won Indy, U.S. Nationals. You're not supposed to do that, but that's how racing is. The big build-up all the time sometimes is anticlimactic in the final. It's just like sports.
But the trophy just says U.S. Nationals winner. Doesn't say how quick you ran, right?
You're right.
And who was your crew chief? Did you see him?
The general.
The general, Tim Richard.
Yeah, my boy. Yeah. Cool. I'm glad to see he came back. He took a year off, got recharged, and him and Kim are back there, and they proved they can still do it.
Well, we've shown you the Funny Car standings down through 12th and those not in as Funny Car's second session of qualifying begins, and everybody is looking at the sky. And so there is Smith, and yeah, that's probably, $5-10 grand.
That's for the blower.
Okay, I've got that down next.
Yeah. Let's start from there, boy. If you make a mistake, it really costs you. If you have to pay your own bills, sometimes you don't pay spending as much money.
I do want to ask you one other question, Joe. For the longest time, you're the winningest top fuel driver. Along comes a guy, Tony Schumacher. Of course, what he's done at Indy and Garlits. Garlits has always been very gracious of losing some of his records to Tony Schumacher. What are your thoughts on the Sarge coming by and breaking your records?
Well, I think that every record is going to be broken eventually. I mean, rarely can you look in sports and see any record that stands forever. And that just, you have to be willing to say you were glad you did it when you did it, and somebody else is going to set the record and be proud that you were part of it and able to do it. You set a mark on the wall and somebody made it a little higher. Someday somebody will come along and probably beat his records, and the records just keep continuing to fall.